As usual, there were several individuals who ran the show, who established policy, etc. And they were the leadership.
And who were they?
They were. A.B. Bennett was active and influential at that time, and of course the chief officers, L.B. Roger. When his turn, Mr. Edmund Frankel was busy with his business, and while he carried out his duties, his official duties, to the best of his ability, he was really too busy to give it much time and attention. He was a very fine gentleman. Mr. Edmund Scheuer was chairman of our campaign for European Jewish Relief, which we ran in the 30s. That was while we had our offices in the Herman building. And he used to come in, he was already in his 90s, come in every morning for about a period of six months and get on the phone and canvass people for the campaign. Saul Kaufman was chairman of the campaign. There were other, Rabbi Eisenhower was chairman of public relations. Rabbi Sachs was a member of the committee, the one that was the rabbi of Gold Tzedek. I think John J. Glass was involved. There were others. Mark G. Cohen, if I'm not mistaken, has something to do with industrial research or something. I know we had a committee that was active in boycott at that time, boycott of German goods. If I had the station in front of me, it would be better.
Right. Okay. I'm wondering, well, it would appear that the Yiddish-speaking community was not very much involved in Congress or at least in the leadership of Congress.
They were represented. A.J. Freeman was a member of the. He represented the Verband, and they were a strong group.
But in Toronto, with people like Frankel and Roger and Scheuer and Eisenhower, the Deutschen seem to have had the upper hand.
They did. The Yiddish-speaking element was not completely ignored, but they were not they didn't set the tone to Congress.
Did they? I'm sorry.
They were there, and they would speak up once in a while.
Did they seem to defer to these people, or did they?
No, just the way the situation evolved in the early years. They were there. They tried to represent their organization as best they could, and they didn't hesitate to make themselves heard. I don't remember their influences being that strong within the organization.
This was the period in
which
that
we haven't touched.
We haven't touched associated.
Associated.
Right. I'll come to that. How are you? Are you getting tired, or
Well, I do tire.
Okay. In that case, let me skip the rest, and I'll come back another time, and we'll talk about that particular part of your career. But let me ask you if you've retained any documents from that Congress period. that might be of interest to us?
No, the only document that I have is the letter that I have upstairs somewhere, which I'm sure I'll find once I start looking for it, because everything, all my correspondence was with Kaiserman in Montreal, and they are the ones that kept the archives. And what happened to the local material, I think, was that it was simply shipped to Montreal afterwards for...
Yes, I've seen some of it there. Some of it I have no idea where it is, but okay.
Because as soon as I was out, somebody else stepped in. I don't know what happened to the files.
Okay. Let's now skip to the period when you became involved in the Associated. I assume that the teaching came after your involvement with the radio program and the...
Well, it was simultaneous, really. Around 1936, there was a program begun by a fellow by the name of Greenfield, and they asked me to give a weekly news summary in Yiddish on the program, which I proceeded to do. In order to do that, we had to go to Hamilton every Sunday afternoon.
And this was Harry Harris's, or this was the predecessor to Harry Harris?
Predecessor, not to Harry Harris's, but the predecessor to Dave Dubinsky. And that program lasted maybe 6 months or a little more, and then this fellow Greenfield vanished. We don't know what happened to him. Nobody knows what happened to him. He was, what was his business? These people that move people out of apartments for unpaid rent or something. What do they call them?
What, the eviction, or was he a bailiff?
A bailiff.
A bailiff.
He was a bailiff. Nobody knows what happened to him, and that died. And then Dave Dubinsky decided to set up a program. He was a young man, and his program lasted for about 2 years. And what I did on his program was MC it. We used to broadcast from a station on University Avenue, just below Dundas. There were
CKY used to be.
CKEY.
Yeah, it was CKY across from the shul.
Yes, that's right. That's where we broadcasted from. For one period of 4 months, we did our broadcasts from the stage of what was at that time a Jewish theater, and that was the theater at Spadina and Dundas, which subsequently became
Yes.
you know what it was. And that was for a period of 2 years. And at the same time, I was also doing something already for the Canada Nice. I used to edit the news page, occasionally translate an ad or something. And I worked with Morris Goldstick, Mrs. Dworkin's brother, on that. And I was with them for about 7 or 8 years.